Can you describe a particularly successful investment you made and what made it successful?
Um, I love to point to bKash because that is the first investment that I did, and it's the longest relationship, in terms of our foreign equity investments that we've had at the Gates Foundation. And I think what made it successful was, first of all, not every investment has to go this way. These are just the kind of combination of events that made bKash successful. It started as a grant, very, very early stage, where we took a bet on the founders. So Kamal Kadir and Iqbal Kadir, two brothers who had already like a very strong founder track record in country. This was not their first startup.
Mhm.
And
And for
then
those who don't know, bKash is like literally the digital payments financial services platform in Bangladesh. Not just assuming everyone in the audience knows that, but that is
that's right.
bKash is very much iconic in Bangladesh. But continue.
It's a mobile wallet that has reached over 60 million people in Bangladesh, the majority of whom are unbanked, and similar to what emerged in Kenya with M-Pesa back in 2010. Yeah, so I think it started as a grant, really gave us the opportunity to kind of get to know the founders really well, and the relationships that they had in country, including one which was critical with BRAC, the NGO,
Mhm.
and BRAC Bank. And that relationship really helped them ultimately get access to a mobile financial services license, which they would not have gotten without that relationship. And another reason why it was successful was, I'll go back, these founders are not first-time founders. They knew kind of the potential pitfalls of starting a company, and they were extremely conservative. I mean, this was before, venture capital was even a thing, or private equity was even a thing in Bangladesh. That just didn't exist. And so
Mhm.
because that didn't exist, I think they naturally had to be very, very conservative, and they remain very, very conservative today in their spend. And they grew, actually they grew rapidly, but compared to, I think, original expectations, it was a very slow, measured, careful, and strategic growth. And I think the other thing is the company was very selective about the investors that they brought on, even though, and this is why I will continue to say this today because it's a difficult funding environment, even though in 2010 to 2014, in the early stages of the company forming, there was no venture capital in Bangladesh. There weren't foreign investors
Mhm.
in Bangladesh. The only people that were going into Bangladesh and putting money into the country in this manner were donors.
Mhm.
And so they were still very, very selective about who they took money from. And eventually, so it started out with BRAC Bank and the founders, and a small group of investors, and grew to IFC and Gates Foundation, and eventually, as they really started to demonstrate scale, grew to Ant Financial coming in and SoftBank coming in. And so these are all kind of investors that are strong in their own right and bring something very different. Each brings something very different to the table and can contribute to the growth of the company and supporting that founder. And so I'm not going to say that it was always like a smooth and easy ride for the company and the shareholders, but it was a very measured growth and very strategic decisions in terms of growth, where they didn't just take money from anyone. The founder had a very strong point of view
Yeah.
of what he wanted to do.